Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes explores an alternate universe full of what-ifs for the main story. It massively deviates from the plot from 3 Houses while still acknowledging info learned from playing that game. Today I want to recap and explain the prologue of 3 Hopes since it moves so quickly, and that means lots of spoilers for this game and 3 Houses, so be warned. The intro cutscene shows a battle, most likely from the past, with Seros, Saint Macuo, Saint Indek, Flane, aka Saint Sethlin, and Seteth or Saint Kiho. We even get a shot of Gonro, Hilda's ancestor, with their hero's relic for Kugo. Seros and the Saints are targeted by a group of mages dressed like those who slither in the dark, aka the Agarthians, and a bright glowing figure with red floating armor and a slim sword. Seros transforms into the Immaculate One and proceeds to laser those poor mages into the afterlife. This brings us to the present day with our protagonist Shez working for a mercenary group whose current job has them facing off with the infamous Gerald's mercenaries and the Ashen Demon Byleth. Shez's group falls one by one and Shez is overwhelmed by Byleth. Before the finishing blow, a voice calls to Shez and they go Super Saiyan with new facial markings, new eye color, some familiar red floating armor, and they summon a sword. Shez continues fighting in their new form, but Byleth leaves the fight, stating their mission is complete. Shez then passes out and during this time meets Arvo, who claims that Shez is part of their world's cycle, and Arvo is the one who protected Shez. It's clear that Shez's transformation matches the glowing figure in the cutscene, so it would appear Arvo has some connection to those who slither in the dark, or the Agarthians. Shez wants to defeat Gerald's mercenaries and Byleth, and Arvo agrees to help meet their goal. At this point, we jump 6 months into the future, and Shez is sleeping in the woods. Arvo recounts needing to save Shez 22 times so far, but has woken him up because the 3 house leaders are nearby. Shez offers their mercenary work for payment, and the house leaders agree since they're being chased by bandits. The group defeat Kostas, the leader of the bandit group, and Alois catches up with the Knights of Seros. Shez mentions he was looking for Remire village to find Gerald's mercenaries, but his run-in with the house leaders prevents them from meeting Byleth. Thus, our story is already changing. To keep Shez quiet about the bandit incident and to repay them, Alois insists they return to the Garrick Mach Monastery. It is there we learn Rhea and Seteth wants Shez to join the Officers Academy as a reward under the pretense that they're going to become stronger there. Arvo mentions this might also be a way to keep Shez close by due to their transformation powers, and we kind of saw the same play with Byleth in 3 Houses because Rhea obviously knew who Byleth was. Shez gets to pick a house to join, and since Byleth is not present, Yuritsa is in charge of whatever house you pick. While the routes split here, the prologue events all happen no matter who you join. To understand why, you kinda need to play the Black Eagle Scarlet Blaze route. During this time, it is revealed that Edelgard and Hubert know about Monica. Edelgard puts a new plan into action as this is the last time they can save Monica. It is made clear that because Yuritsa is the instructor now, and his mission is to rout the bandits that attack them, they have an excuse to go save Monica from those who slither in the dark. Yuritsa obviously serves Edelgard, and you see Edelgard talking to him before the first mission, most likely to put the plan into action. In all 3 routes, Yuritsa knows where the bandits are, and he makes you check the basement because that's where Monica is. You save Monica, you fend off Kronya, and you expose Solon, who is disguised as Tomas. Shez and Arvo recognize Solon's transformation is similar to their own, and later on, Shez questions if Arvo knows about Solon. Arvo claims he has no clue about the situation. In Chapter 3, the missions differ for each route, as Monica's rescue leads Edelgard to change her original plan that essentially occurs in 3 houses. Chapter 3 actually happens at different times for each route, but it's chronological, starting with Black Eagles, Blue Lions, and last Golden Deer. This is because Edelgard's actions affect Dimitri's situation, which affect Claude's. In Scarlet Blaze, Edelgard and Hubert tell Rhea they want to return to Enbar and basically call out Lord Arundel, Edelgard's uncle, as a collaborator of Solon. They want to take the Black Eagles and a bunch of Knights of Seros to not arouse suspicion when they confront Arundel at the palace. Edelgard plans to use the Church's Knights as crowd control in the city while she overthrows her uncle. When rounding up the Black Eagles, Edelgard addresses Shez's suspicious transformation powers. She says she trusts Shez since they helped save Monica and entices Shez to join her by saying they might find out where that power comes from. This intrigues Arvo and Shez, and they accept the invitation. We get a scene where Lord Arundel learns of Solon's reveal at Garrick Mach and wants to notify Cleobulus, who is supposedly another Garthian member in the kingdom. Arundel also learns of Edelgard's march on Enbar with the Knights of Seros and prepares for a fight. Meanwhile, Edelgard reveals to the other students that Enbar has been taken over by the same forces like Solon. She plans to stamp out the traitors like Duke Eyre, Ferdinand's father, along with Arundel, but has the support of some nobles inside the palace. We learn Count Bergles, Casper's father, and Count Hevring, Linhardt's father, support Edelgard's cause. Ferdy, Casper, Linhardt, and Bernie actually were left at Garreg Mach, probably not to interfere since Edelgard is gonna upend the nobility. In the ensuing battle, the Black Eagles capture Duke Eyre, they force Arundel to reveal his real form, plus he retreats, and Edelgard gets ready to ascend the throne. She instructs Count Bergles and Hevring to prepare for a 5-year war, and intends to make Count Varley, Bernadetta's father, the bishop of the reinstated Southern Church. The Black Eagles decide to stay and help rebuild, while Edelgard offers Shez a position in her military instead of returning to the monastery. In 2 years' time, Edelgard will declare war on the Church of Seros and kick off the main portion of the full game. Let's backtrack to what happens to the Blue Lions in Chapter 3 after Solon's reveal. Dimitri addresses Shez's power by saying power is neutral and compares it to the power of his own crest. Shez used their power for good, so Dimitri trusts them. After this conversation, Dimitri learns that Rodrigue is at Garreg Mach to relay that Rufus, Dimitri's uncle and the regent of the kingdom, has seized the capital and declares war on House Frodarius. Frodarius supports Dimitri as the next king, so it's assumed Rufus wants to end Dimitri's chances to reign. Ingrid has a good question in why did Rufus attack now? This did not happen in 3 houses, but I believe there is a possible explanation we'll get to in just a bit. For now, Dimitri wants to return to the kingdom, and Rhea suggests bringing the Blue Lions with him. She provides some knights headed by Gilbert, but Sedid mentions they don't have as many since they dispatched most of the knights elsewhere a couple days ago. Thanks to Scarlet Blaze, we know those knights went with Edelgard to Enbar. Most of the Blue Lions head to the kingdom with Dimitri except for Annette. This is because her involvement might cause issues for her family. As for Shez, they aren't completely sure if going is the right choice, but decide staying at the academy doesn't do much for them. Our next scene is with Rufus and Cornelia. Rufus expresses his fear of Dimitri and ignores his letter of reconciliation. Cornelia recounts how Rufus was involved in the tragedy of Duscur, and is mostly due to Rufus's jealousy of his brother Lambert, Dimitri's father. Rufus was the firstborn, but since he had no crest, Lambert became king. Rufus helped kill Lambert in the Duscur tragedy and tried to kill Dimitri as well, but failed. Despite his actions, it's clear Rufus suffers from the guilt of what he's done and he's just tired of it all. After this, we see Cornelia talking with a Slither waiting to hear from Tallis. The Slither relays that something has happened in the Imperial capital. This would be Edelgard's retaking of the throne and the overthrow of Tallis, who was dressed up as Lord Arundel. The Slither calls Cornelia Cleobulus, which is the name Tallis mentioned earlier. Despite the use of male pronouns, it's entirely possible Cleobulus is a man disguised as Cornelia. With this knowledge, we can reason that when Solon got revealed, Tallis put a contingency plan into action and notified Cleobulus to start a revolt in the kingdom to distract the church. This could answer Ingrid's question of why Rufus attacked now, although I'm not fully sure of that. As the chapter plays out, the Blue Lions and their band of knights from the church invade the capital. During the battle, they defeat and chase Cornelia/Cleobulus away and capture Rufus. Dimitri is set to execute Rufus, and Rufus mentions he deserves to die by Dimitri's hand, as we know he was responsible for Lambert's death. Will killing his own uncle, the last of his family, affect Dimitri later on? I suppose we'll have to see. Wrapping things up for this part is Margrave Gautier, Sylvain's father. He summarizes findings on Rufus and the other lords' involvement with the tragedy of Duscur. They know Cornelia arranged for Lord Arundel and a young Edelgard to come to the kingdom, and Margrave Gautier suspects Lord Arundel is behind everything, which is pretty much correct since it's Tallis and the Slithers pulling strings behind this curtain. Dimitri wants to spread this news throughout the land, but it would surely cause unrest with the public. His solution to this is to have Rodrigue pass his title down to Felix, and Rodrigue is going to take the blame while working to set things right with the people of Duscur. Dimitri will become the next king and plans to form a private army with Shez as the leader. The reason being, Rufus's influence is still present in the kingdom. In the next 2 years, Dimitri and the Blue Lions work to unify the kingdom of Vargas. Last but not least, let's discuss what Claude and the Golden Deer have in store for them. After Solon's reveal, Claude asks Shez directly if they know Solon. Shez replies they don't, and Claude says he doesn't suspect them, but he can sympathize feeling like an outsider. Claude then receives news that the Almirans are invading, and Hilda's brother Host is requesting reinforcements at Foden's Locket. This time, Ignatz questions why the sudden invasion. The Golden Deer conclude that the news of the war in the Empire and the Kingdom might have spurred the Almirans to attack. Raphael even mentions that they're the only students left at the Academy, again proving the events of Chapter 3 are happening in order. Shez decides to help out, and Shamir introduces herself, saying she's gonna go with the Golden Deer. Shamir mentions part of the knights are searching for Tomas, while the rest went to the Empire and the Kingdom. Claude will take anyone they can get though. As the Golden Deer head to Foden's Locket, on the Almiran side, Prince Shahid is frustrated at why they haven't broken through yet. Nadir states, Host and his men fight like true demons. Shahid states no reinforcements will arrive from the Empire and Kingdom due to their power struggles, so it does seem like the Golden Deer were correct on why the Almirans are invading at this moment. Shahid mentions his brother Khalid has been gone for a while and must be plotting something, but Shahid believes if he conquers Foden, then the throne will be his next. Seems like even the Almirans have some nobility issues. At the end, Shahid hears of the Locket's reinforcements, aka the Golden Deer, but orders the next attack to commence. Back to Claude and company, we finally meet General Host, Hilda's brother, and the Alliance's best warrior. Host is in charge of the Locket's defenses and rallies his troops against Shahid's assault. The Golden Deer help Host defend, and Shahid shares some words with Claude, saying he reminds him of his brother Khalid. I wonder why that is. Here's hoping 3 Hopes really dives into the Claude lore this time. With the advantage in battle, Claude lets Shahid retreat, stating he doesn't want an army coming back to avenge the royal prince. Host is impressed with Claude's leadership, and the two feel they'll get along just fine when Claude becomes the next leader of the alliance. As for how Claude wins Shez over to his side for the next 2 years, he once again sympathizes with Shez as an outsider. Claude also says he'll use his family's influence to track down Gerald's mercenaries and let Shez do what they need to do. We do eventually learn that Shez has kind of been forgotten in the 2-year time skip, but as Edelgard makes her move to start a war, Claude also employs Shez as a commander for his troops. This about wraps up the 3 Hopes prologue, and as you can see, there is so much going on. Will the 3 routes continue to happen at the same time and then converge? Who knows at the moment, but I'm looking forward to some more crazy twists and turns. That's all I got for now, but I may put out one more video before the launch of the game. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.